To our Tuesday, November 2nd meeting, if you'll please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To our Tuesday, November 2nd meeting, if you'll please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To our Tuesday, November 2nd meeting, if you'll please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We'd like to welcome everyone here. I want to remind everyone that our current policy regarding our Tuesday, November 2nd meeting, if you'll please, when we are conducting our public meetings. If you are not willing to wear a mask, we ask that you politely leave now and watch a stream version of the meeting. There are extra masks in the back of the room. So I know we have a couple of members. There's some in the back of the room. I also want to remind everyone there are two opportunities for you to address the board. The first one will be in a few minutes, and we ask that you keep those comments to action items only. The second opportunity will be at the end of our meeting, where you can address the board with anything you so wish to address us. You do have to sign up, and all information does have to be filled out. So with that, we'll move on to our agenda: approval, deletions, additions. Dr. Rocker.
Thank you, Mrs. Seuss. You have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought she was calling for a motion. My apology.
In a moment. Seek approval for the agenda that you received in your packets last week.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mrs. Kelly,
Second?
second by Mr. Marshall. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Is there any correspondence, Mr. Marshall?
Under the correspondence section of our agenda, I have nothing official. I'd like to make a couple of statements. I'm taking liberties with this area. Number one, we lost another one of our former employees during the past week, Keith Hauber. Keith and I go back to at least the 1980s when he was coaching as an assistant on the basketball program with Tom Medjesi, and Keith happened to coach our oldest daughter at that time. He then moved on and became an assistant with Tom Linger on the softball team. And again, one of our girls, our oldest daughter, and him were part of the first 1992 state champion team from Lake Central. Keith also was a very strong individual teacher in the classroom, and obviously he will be sorely missed at this time. Also, I'd like to mention that one of our board members will be absent this evening, Dr. Janice Malkow. She is a participant in her church choir, and apparently her voice would be missed because she said she will be at church choir practice tonight instead of the meeting. The meeting usually is on Mondays, so in all deference, that's where she made her decision. Thank you. That's all at this time. When we get to the liaison reports, I'd also like to make a comment for Janice at that time. Thank you.
And we'll move right into our liaison committee updates. We'll start with you, Mr. Marshall.
I have nothing to report on the personnel interviews. I'm going to jump down to Dr. Malkow's area. She had phoned me and asked that I make an announcement. The Lake Central Education Foundation is sponsoring a 5K run walk this coming Saturday. Registration will be at door K, that's as in Kite, at 7 o'clock in the morning. The run walk will start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just looking at my notes here. Oh, it's in honor of Dana Less. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Kelly?
Nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Dr. Medlin?
Nothing to report for the Wellness Committee. Nothing to report on Diary Redevelopment Committee meeting, except that Mrs. Tanis is here. Hello. That is all.
All right, and I have nothing for Dollars for Scholars nor for the St. John Redevelopment Committee meeting. So to those that need a mask, the masks are at the back table. We ask that you please do so now. And then we'll move on to our official school board business topics consent agenda. Dr. Varacco.
Thank you again. Seek board approval for the minutes from our meeting on October 18th, as well as approval of the claims, payroll, and extracurricular expenditures you received in your packets last week.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Ms. Kelly,
Second.
second by Dr. Medlin. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Is there any public comments regarding action items? Mrs. Nowacki? Thank you. There is none, so we'll move on to our official school board business topics, regular agenda. Dr. Varacco.
So we'll kick off this regular agenda with some recognition. First, I'd like to introduce Ashley Klein, Director of Guidance from Lake Central High School, and she is going to introduce our National Merit Scholarship semifinalists for 2022.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I would like to call Ethan Schasberger and Carson Baum to come down, please. We also had another student, Brittany Gear, but she's unable to make the meeting tonight. I'm here tonight to recognize these three outstanding seniors. In October of their junior year, they took the PSAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Exam and scored in the top half of 1% nationally, and now qualify as National Merit semifinalists. They have also completed their applications to hopefully become National Merit Scholar finalists. Congratulations on a truly incredible accomplishment.
Good job.
One second.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
May I ask a quick question of the two gentlemen? Is it premature to ask you, have you selected a university at this time? Okay.
I also have applied but have not been accepted by anywhere.
Well, I don't think you'll have any worry about being accepted.
Our next batch of honorees come from the Lake Central High School Band Department. Mrs. Novak asked me to read the following. We'd like to congratulate the following Lake Central High School students who were selected for the 2021 Indiana Bandmasters Association All-District Honor Band. The band is directed by Mr. Elliott Smith. And these students were selected from hundreds of applicants. Their dedication to excellence in performing arts is nothing short of extraordinary. Their concert will take place on Sunday, November 21st, 2021 at Kankakee Valley High School. Do you want to read the names, Elliot, or you want me to go?
I can read the names.
Okay, thank you.
We have Yara Hajaz, Nadine Batista, Tyler Sharkey, Julian Santiago, Jack Bolfer. Landon LaRue, who was not able to be with us this evening. Dominic Prunty. Matthew Borowski. Alex Magaha. Gracie Cockrell. And Harrison Tawaka. Proud and there's so many of you.
Yep. Can you get it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
If you guys would like to leave, now would be that time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, my third item this evening is to update the board on the information we've received since our last gathering regarding masks and some of the things that are happening. I do want to share with the board that I continue to get some correspondence from community members who believe that we as a school district are being compensated for our mask mandate. This comes despite the fact that I've shared, if that were the case, how is Florida and Texas getting all their money, which is a lot more money than Indiana got from the CARES and ESSER money. But nonetheless, it's been ingrained in certain people. But I want to state on the record again that our planned uses for the CARES Act and the ESSER money is posted on our website. It's been there for a couple of months. If you go to lcsc.us, then departments, then business, then ESSER funds, you can see where we expect to spend those federal grant money. As with every other federal grant, we spend the money first, and then we have to submit it for refunding. And it has to meet their criteria on what that money can be used for. So I wanted to get that piece out first. The General Assembly did establish the Indiana Department of Health back in the day, and they have been granted the legal authority over local departments of health. I share that because I want people to understand that the State Department of Health trumps the local Department of Health. During the pandemic thus far, the Department of Health has had the authority to develop control measures, mainly, in quotes, the suppression of disease, and specific authority to establish quarantines and the implementation methods it deems reasonable and necessary. Now, I've said in this room on many occasions that I think the quarantine policy is a little bit extensive, given the number of quarantined individuals who end up testing positive. But nonetheless, they are the rules that we are expected to follow. The Department of Health has reminded schools on numerous occasions, mainly all summer long, on their every Thursday call, and now they've gone to every other week, including sharing with us that it's a Class B misdemeanor to not follow what they've laid out in Indiana Code 1641-2-9. Now, here's the kicker, right? If or when any local county prosecutor is going to get information from a local health department that says a school district isn't implementing this, isn't compliant, we can't determine that. I don't know of anybody having done that yet, but I do know from the calls that there's a 2-year statute of limitation, and I'll just share again with the community that we're a district that tries to follow the rules when we think the state has been clear on their expectations. Governor Holcomb's Executive Order 2127, if you remember back a month or two ago, they gave the Department of Health authority to revise the quarantine procedures. That's how everyone else who wasn't mask or face covering, you get out of all those quarantines. That rule still exists. It was updated over the weekend into Executive Order 21-31. And again, it's the expectation of the Indiana Department of Health in this executive order from the governor, quote, reporting, investigation of close contacts, and quarantine requirements. Additionally, I think this is the key part for people who are saying, hey, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? What's the path forward? When will something change? Governor Holcomb stated in his press release, and I quote, I have instructed my staff and the relevant agencies over the next few weeks to bring me a plan that contemplates options to wind down our executive orders and end the state public health emergency in the near future. Now, from the recent calls we've been on, it seems like that is going to be tied to this age 5 to 11 having the opportunity to get some kind of a vaccine. And so we expect there's a chance, if I heard the news right on the way back to the office today, that it got approved by the FDA, that 6 to 8 weeks might be enough time for the governor to say, at the end of December, the rules will change. I want to remind everybody, though, for the rules to change well, because I think no matter what side of this issue you're on, you know there are going to be some cases. We've got to get some relief on the quarantine piece, because reducing the number of quarantines to 0 and the number of cases to 0 is not realistic in the near future. So we still have the piece about close contacts at lunch when their masks are down, or athletics if you're wrestling each other. Those rules would still exist, but if you looked at our data lately, it's been really good, other than today, which I don't know how that jumped so much, but we had 12 or 13 cases today, but that's more than what we've been getting in a week in the last 6 weeks. So, but unofficially, again, it appears from the calls with the Indiana Department of Health that we should expect some change to occur in the near future. And I just wanted the board to have an update on what I know. I'm not looking to change anything at this point, because I think that we're going to get official change coming somewhere in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Barco. So now we'll move on to our Director of Human Resources.
Yeah, I think I would like to see what you think. I put in for a request to drive to Nashville for the National American Association of Superintendents in February, February 17th through 19th.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Marshall,
Second.
second by Ms. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to our Director of Human Resources, Mrs. Mucha.
Thank you very much. We are recommending that the following personnel items that were included in your packet be approved.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion by Ms. Kelly,
Second.
second by Dr. Medlin. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. I also, in your packet, included the new administrative handbook, and we are asking your approval for that also.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Marshall,
Second.
Second by Dr. Medlin. Any discussion? Thank you. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I did this last time. Dr. Racy, you have nothing, correct? Thank you. We'll move on to our Director of Secondary Education, Mrs. Castaneda.
Thank you. For my first item, I am seeking your approval for the professional leave requests as presented.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mrs. Kelly,
Second.
second by Dr. Medlin. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And for my second item, I am seeking your approval for the field trip requests as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Marshall,
Second.
second by Mrs. Kelly. Do they need anybody else to go with them? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Move on to our Director of Student Services, Mrs. Gramala.
Thank you. My only item is to seek your approval for the professional leave requests that were in the packet.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall,
Second.
second by Mrs. Kelly. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
We'll move right along to our Director of Business Services, Mr. James.
Evening. I seek your approval for the professional leave request that was in your packet. And just for a point of clarification, this is for the ASBO annual conference. It is normally in May, but because of pandemic, we've pushed it to November. In my narrative, I noted it was November 17th through 19th, which is correct. My professional leave form, I accidentally put 17th through the 20th, but it is actually through the 19th, as the agenda said that included. So I seek your approval on that.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mrs. Kelly,
Second.
second by Dr. Medlin. Any discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Then I seek your approval for the donations in your board packet.
Move to approve the donations.
We have a motion by Dr. Medlin,
Second.
second by Ms. Kelly. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, we will move on to our public comments. I'm sorry, I'm going to probably say her last name wrong. Jenna Ozrud? I'm sorry, Ogrizud. Thank you. I just want to remind everyone, you'll have 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, we will let you know that your time is up. We ask that you state your name and address before beginning.
Thank you. Jenna Ogrizovich, Dyer, Indiana. My street address is written down for the record. I am just here to comment tonight, talk about something other than masks. The board of the School of Trustees, the Lake Central School Corporation, will be holding a meeting this Monday on November 8th at 4:00 p.m. at the Lake Central K-Trap Room in the Lake Central High School here. They will be meeting to discuss many proposed amendments to Superintendent Veraco's contract, to include a base salary increase to $184,493 retroactive to July 1st, 2021. Congratulations, Dr. Veraco. Also, as workday is 260 days, with his annual entitlement to 25 vacation days and annual holidays, sick days, personal business days, and bereavement leave per the then current version of the administrative handbook. Also, to be discussed this upcoming Monday will be his retirement fund, which will be approximately $20,000 for his teacher retirement fund, and then another $20,000 for the annuity. Also, the professional memberships for $1,000 at a cost of $1,700 into the IAPSS and IASBO. Also, paying for these professional conferences and seminars, a vehicle allowance of $600 per month, and a technology allowance of $100 per month, each payable in installments on the school corporation's normal payroll dates. Other benefits, The school corporation provides a superintendent with other benefits provided to its other 12-month administrators that are not inconsistent with the superintendent's contract per the administrative handbook, including an annual $2,000 contribution to VEBA account and early retirement supplement benefit. And professional liability coverage to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless the superintendent in legal actions involving incidents in which the superintendent was legally acting with the scope of his employment. This proposed contract of the superintendent will be available on the Lake Central School Corporation website and will be discussed at this upcoming special board meeting, November 8th, at 4:00 p.m., not 7 o'clock, so hopefully
Thank you.
it won't be too
Laura
early for
Dubish?
those who are
Mrs.
working.
Dubish, can you please? Thank you. Hi.
How are we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Can you state your name and address, please?
Laura Dubish, and my address also is written for the record. Plus, you probably know it by now. So, you know, it's interesting this year. I think this mask thing has kind of sparked a fire in a lot of us to dig and do research because obviously it went against the majority of your constituents' wishes. And it made us wonder what else is going on that we wouldn't like for our children. So I've been researching the bylaws. And I just thought, in case other people watching or listening would be interested in this. Just go close to the microphone. All right, can you hear me? So in the bylaws, under board member ethics, this is so interesting, blew my mind. Very first item, a school board member should honor the high responsibility which her membership demands by, number one, thinking always in terms of children first. This is so perplexing because children are least affected by this disease. And yet we're making them mask. So, 3 down. The other thing, their membership demands by always refusing to play politics. Very interesting. I had an exchange with a board member this week, and she told me Florida has the highest COVID death rate, 3rd highest. And I pointed out back to her a fact, they are the 3rd highest populated state, not to mention the 2nd highest number of people age 65 and above. So then she wrote back to me, oh yes, but Florida peaked in September and everyone else peaked sooner. Oh, what's that got to do with it? So she changed the metric. And then I pointed out to her, what does this have to do with it? And she came back with how morally sound she is. So to me, that's a classic example of ignoring facts and playing politics. On my side, everyone knows I'm conservative. I welcome facts. As a matter of fact, Dr. Medlin sent me some studies on masking and the advantages, and I thanked her for sending studies. The other thing Dr. Varacco pointed out to me, I told him, compare Crown Point, who was unmasked, to Lake Central, who was masked, and they seemed to do the same, but Dr. Varacco pointed out, wait a minute, that was only 5 days for Crown Point, and it was 10 days for LC. I said, great, thank you for pointing that out. That's a fact. He was right. This politics on the board blows my mind. Next thing it says, school board members should honor the high responsibility which his or her membership demands by representing at all times the entire school community, the entire community. I didn't see a 15-second warning.
I did put it up.
Oh, well, can I, since I'm the last speaker?
No.
No.
We can't because if we allow you, then we have to allow others.
Oh,
So
I thought you had
I'm
30
sorry.
minutes max.
3 minutes per person is our board policy. I'm sorry.
All right, well, I have more from the bylaws. That's very interesting.
Thank you.
That I will come back and read next time.
Thank you.
But it's just one thing I have to say, Cindy, because no one's in a hurry, right? Am I okay, guys? I have one thing to read.
We have to,
The gavel.
yeah.
For implementing
It's cut, so,
requirements to public education and
Thank you.
for meeting the desires of the citizens.
thank you.
It doesn't say one, it says you have the dual
I
responsibility.
understand that. Thank you. I'm
You're
sorry.
failing on meeting the desires of the citizens.
Thank you.
I really wish you guys would do your responsibility.
Thank you. So with that, we will move on to board comments and consideration of future agenda items.
But Laura, here's the thing. I updated everybody on the mask tonight because the people who have the power to change it, they chose not to. Okay? I mean, they just got together to redistrict in Indiana, and they could have said, COVID's not a communicable disease like measles and polio and those other things that we've mandated as communicable disease. They chose not to do it. I've told many people that we do our best to just follow the rules when we think they're crystal clear. And so we're at an impasse, but, you know, the minute we start picking and choosing which pieces of state legislature code that we're going to toss aside, then there'll be way more Laura Dubishes up here saying, who do you people think you are? And so we do have an obligation to follow the code.
Not a lot of people like me, so I know that. But I do want to say, I understand where you're coming from completely. And this is where, I know you're protecting whatever liability for LC you're following the state. However, this is where the board is responsible for getting to the bottom of what the law is, and there's constitutional issues. The governor is being sued by Allen County, as well as the state health department, as well as their district and their board of health. And there's other lawsuits going on, and they're winning, Dr. Baracco. And the reason our lawsuit, as everyone knows about, is going forward, because I know this will lift before the lawsuit, we're doing it so it's on the record, because you're taking our constitutional rights to make medical decisions for our kids. They're gonna win in court, we're gonna win. So you'll see. I get you're following them for that reason, but it's unconstitutional. This board should do what Griffith has done and over a dozen other schools, to find the legal loophole to represent your constituents. They're not doing that.
Okay, well, we're going to close our meeting, but I'm totally comfortable being with the other 280 school districts that have chosen to follow the executive order from the governor and the Indiana code that the General Assembly has passed, instead of those 12 who've chosen to be smarter than what they think they are. I mean, I don't know.
All right, we have to move on with our board comments and consideration of future agenda items. We'll start, Mr. Marshall.
I have nothing further this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Kelly?
I'd just like to convey my condolences to Keith Halber's family in his passing.
Thank you. Dr. Medlin?
One thing I would like to say is that the superintendent's salary is in line with what the superintendent's salaries are in this area. What we're doing for Dr. Baracco is what superintendents are paid. So though the numbers are the numbers, that's what this area pays for superintendents. It's a huge job, and I think the pay is commensurate for the job that he does for the district.
Absolutely. So, all right, so we
So
will
I-
now move on to. Oh,
May
sorry.
I make another comment? Believe me,
No, it's not question and answer. Keep going.
you know, and as a board member, I should be able to say things that I want to say too. And in the email correspondence that we had, you were attacking my views, saying that I was bringing politics into the schools. So my response was that my moral compass is intact. I did not say I was morally superior. I made no comment of the sort. I made a comment with respect to me and who I am. My moral compass is intact. So I have not at any point made any derogative comments towards you or anyone else in the community. I've made none.
It's not question and answer. Gotta keep going.
So that, I just wanted to put that on the record, that those are the words that I used. I have nothing else to say, Mrs. Seuss.
Thank you. So I wanted to say, Dr. Veraco, the trees at Coling, they look good. I can't wait to see when they get bigger, and that was a great choice.
Yeah, we put 15 new trees. Well, they're not all in
15?
because it's pretty wet, but we've got about half of them in. And
Not at
so-
Coling, just the
So, no,
full
the
Coling.
entryways we're trying to dress up a little bit,
Oh,
but thank
at
you for
each school.
noticing. We appreciate that.
Great. So Bill and you that worked that out, thank you. And I'd like to give a shout out to our Corporal Kissinger, and he's in the back of the room there. He went to Washington DC, and I just happened to get an alert on my phone that somebody was going live, and it was Corporal Kissinger. And he and 3 students were chosen to place wreaths at the tomb of the unknown soldier. So it was yourself and Ryan Jackson, Genevieve Cosgrove, and Zainab Mahudin. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, but what a great honor that was, and thank you for representing LC. So we appreciate you. And with that, that's all that I have. So we'll move on to Dr. Veraco for board calendar, future activities.
Yeah, our next meeting is here on November 15th. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion for adjournment by Mr. Marshall. Second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?